The night unfolded with a silence that felt heavier than any applause could ever be. The usual warmth of the studio was replaced by a chilling stillness, a quiet tension that wrapped itself tightly around every corner of the stage. Johnny Carson, known for his effortless charm, wore a mask, calm, but cracked beneath the surface. The first guest stumbled into view, a shadow of his former self, unsteady and aloof. The audience saw only fragments of what was happening, but the silence spoke louder than words. No reaction. No warmth. Just distance. It wasn't what was said, it was what wasn't. The cameras captured an unraveling, a breaking point that felt both sudden and inevitable. The monologue was shorter, clipped, and the usual rhythm was disrupted. Every glance, every pause, held a weight that no one could quite name. The tension was palpable, hanging in the air like smoke from a fire no one dared approach. Words stumbled, stories spilled out, unfiltered, raw, and damaging. Behind the scenes, chaos brewed, but on air, the silence screamed. Then, without warning, the broadcast cut away, leaving a void that stretched far beyond the screen. What followed was not just an erased episode but a buried moment, sealed off and hidden from history. NBC's archives showed no trace, as if the night had never happened. The guest's presence, the sharp edge of his words, and the fracture in Carson's composure vanished into an unsettling black hole. No explanation. No acknowledgement. Just silence. The network's heavy hand swept through, cutting connections and rewriting memories. The air of discomfort lingered long after the cameras stopped rolling, an invisible scar etched into the legacy of a beloved show. Fragments of the episode surface occasionally, like ghostly whispers, but they are swiftly snatched away, swallowed by a force determined to keep the past locked away. The story hides in the spaces between what was seen and what was erased, in the cold looks and unspoken warnings that remain. A vanished night, forever suspended in eerie stillness. The night began with unease, even before the cameras started rolling. The guest arrived late, his steps unsteady, the scent of alcohol trailing behind him like a warning no one could ignore. Staff whispered of erratic speech and wild behavior in the hallways, but the show pressed on. Johnny Carson, known for his grace under pressure, wore a mask of professionalism, though tension simmered beneath. Moments before going live, a heated confrontation echoed just outside the dressing room. A clash so intense it broke the usual calm. Despite his frustration, Carson was pushed by the network to continue, a decision that would come to haunt all involved. The broadcast opened with a clipped monologue, the familiar rhythm broken, setting the stage for what was to come. The guest took the spotlight, but it was not the performance anyone expected. His speech was slurred, disjointed, unraveling as he veered into dangerous territory. The studio air thickened with discomfort, the audience sensing the unraveling of something fragile. Carson's attempts to steer the conversation back to safer ground fell short, met with persistence and increasingly shocking revelations. The guest disclosed secrets meant to remain hidden, the weight of his words filling the silent spaces between them. The usual flow of laughter and applause was replaced by stunned silence, a collective breath held too long. Suddenly, the broadcast cut away, mid-sentence, leaving a void where clarity should have been. The confusion was immediate, but the fallout would prove far more lasting and ominous. Behind closed doors, the network's response was swift and ruthless. Orders went out to erase every trace of the episode. No reruns, no archives, no mention. NBC's meticulous records vanished the night entirely, as if it never existed. Staff involved faced strict gag orders, and those who tried to preserve the footage were swiftly removed or silenced. The master tape itself was destroyed, a rare and extreme act by a network known for careful preservation. This level of erasure spoke volumes about the threat perceived behind the scenes. Whispers of scandal and cover-up grew louder as insiders recounted a culture of silence and fear. The Carson blackout, as it came to be known, became an unspoken rule, a warning never to revisit that night. Meanwhile, Johnny Carson's demeanor shifted subtly but noticeably. The once unshakable host grew cautious, his humor guarded, his presence less commanding. Friends noted a quieter, more reserved man, carrying a burden no audience would ever see. In a cryptic monologue months later, Carson hinted at the incident, alluding to the dangers of cancel culture and the things better left forgotten. His words were a rare acknowledgement, spoken softly and wrapped in metaphor. The guest, too, vanished from the public eye. His career faltered, projects disappeared, and offers dried up without explanation. Leaked memoir fragments hinted at a painful fall from grace, a story of betrayal and regret linked inextricably to that night's broadcast. The silence around both men deepened the mystery, leaving a haunting legacy neither could escape. Over time, fragments of the lost episode have slipped through the cracks, brief clips surfacing in private collections, online auctions, and underground forums. Each appearance is fleeting, swiftly removed by aggressive legal action from NBC. The network's aggressive policing of archival content, rumored to be overseen by a dedicated vault unit, illustrates the lengths taken to control the narrative. Documentarians once granted access to The Tonight Show's archives had permissions revoked when the lost episode was mentioned, further evidence of the network's tight grip on the story. Conspiracy theories swirled, suggesting the guests' revelations exposed powerful, dangerous secrets within Hollywood's inner circles. Though unproven, these theories added layers of unease and suspicion, painting the episode as more than a mere on-air disaster. The incident exposes a harsh truth about live television: the risks, the pressure, and the ruthless measures taken when boundaries are crossed. It is a reminder of the fragile balance between public image and private reality, and the cost of moments that cannot be undone. This vanished broadcast is not just a lost episode. It is a shadowed chapter in television history, where power, secrecy, and silence intertwine in unsettling ways. The legacy lingers quietly, a whisper beneath the laughter, an echo of what was seen, what was hidden, and what must never be spoken aloud. The moment the guest crossed the unseen line, the atmosphere in the studio shifted irrevocably. What had begun as an uneasy conversation deteriorated into a volatile display that unsettled everyone present. His words spilled out, slurred, raw, unfiltered, touching on secrets no one was meant to hear, slicing through the carefully crafted facade of Hollywood's glittering veneer. The studio light seemed harsher, the silence heavier, as he launched into crude and slanderous remarks about powerful industry figures. The usual rhythm of The Tonight Show was shattered, replaced by a growing unease that clung to every frame of the broadcast. Johnny Carson, normally a master of calm, faltered, his composed exterior cracking under the weight of the unexpected storm. Attempts to regain control were met with defiance. The guest pressed on, relentless and unraveling. The tension was suffocating, palpable not just to the live audience but to viewers nationwide. In some regions, the broadcast abruptly cut to commercial mid-sentence, a desperate, silent escape from the chaos unfolding on screen. Others switched their feeds, an uneasy patchwork of reactions reflecting confusion and discomfort. The night's fragile veneer was gone, replaced by an electric, disquieting truth that no one wanted to face. Behind the scenes, the chaos was magnified exponentially. The network scrambled to contain the fallout, the air thick with whispered orders and urgent damage control. NBC executives moved swiftly, enforcing a strict blackout on the episode. No reruns, no archives, no acknowledgement. The master tape was condemned to destruction, an act as extreme as it was deliberate, erasing the night's events from official memory. Staff who dared preserve fragments faced reassignment or silence, their loyalty tested by the weight of secrecy. The network's grip tightened, casting a long shadow over the production team, writers, and crew, who were warned to never mention the incident again. The Carson blackout became an invisible barrier, an unspoken rule of omission that stifled curiosity and silenced dissent. This suppression deepened the mystery, fueling speculation and whispers of a scandal too dangerous for public view. It was a masterclass in controlling narrative, a chilling reminder that in the world of live television, some truths are too perilous to endure. The guest's presence that night became a catalyst for a sweeping erasure, a fracture in the show's history carefully hidden beneath layers of silence. The aftermath etched lasting scars on those involved, invisible yet profound. Johnny Carson's demeanor changed in subtle but unmistakable ways. His humor became more guarded, his wit less daring, as if haunted by the memory of that night. Colleagues noticed a shift from the once unflappable host to a man weighed down by quiet caution. Months later, in a cryptic monologue, Carson alluded to the incident. Not in detail, but in tone, a somber nod to the dangers of cancel culture and the unspoken burdens of live performance. The guest, meanwhile, was erased from the public eye with equal finality. Once a celebrated figure, his career nosedived with bewildering swiftness. Projects vanished, offers dried up, and an invisible blacklist seemed to take hold, shutting doors without explanation. Fragments from a leaked memoir hinted at humiliation, betrayal, and the lasting shadow of the episode's fallout. The silence that enveloped both men was deafening, a testament to the immense power of networks and the fragile, often cruel nature of fame. This vanished broadcast was no longer just a missing episode. It was a turning point, a dark pivot that altered careers and shaped the legacy of one of television's greatest icons. The ripple effects extended far beyond that fateful night. Leaked fragments of the episode surfaced sporadically. Brief, ghostly glimpses in private collections, underground forums, and auctions, each swiftly swept away by NBC's aggressive legal action. The network's rumored vault unit operated with precision, policing archival content to prevent any further exposure. Even documentary filmmakers, initially granted access to the Tonight Show archives, had their permissions revoked once the lost episode came to light, underscoring the depth of institutional control. Theories circulated about the nature of the guests' revelations. Dark secrets tied to Hollywood's power structures, dangerous enough to warrant ruthless suppression. Whether speculation or truth, these whispers only deepened the episode's mystique, painting it as a pivotal moment where entertainment clashed with real-world stakes. The lost episode embodies a haunting cautionary tale about the unforgiving nature of live television and the silent, powerful forces determined to shape what the public can see and remember. It is a story of control, consequence, and the enduring weight of silence that stretches long after the cameras fall dark. The aftermath of that fateful night settled like a heavy fog, obscuring more than just a single episode from public view. The vanished broadcast became a symbol of erasure, a reminder of the lengths a powerful network would go to protect its image. NBC's draconian measures ensured that no official record remained, no reruns were permitted, and no explanations were ever offered. The silence was absolute, a deliberate void where answers should have been. Behind closed doors, strict gag orders bound everyone involved, from production crews to writers, sealing lips and guarding the network's carefully curated narrative. The man at the center, Johnny Carson, carried the weight privately, his public persona subtly shifting in the months that followed. Friends and colleagues observed a more cautious, reserved Carson, a shadow of the unshakable host he once was. His rare, cryptic references to the incident hinted at a burden he bore alone, a night forever etched into his legacy yet never spoken aloud. The guest's fall from grace was equally stark. Once a figure of prominence, his career unraveled swiftly and without public explanation. Projects disappeared, public appearances ceased, and he faded into obscurity, his story swallowed by the silence imposed by those in power. The persistent mystery surrounding the episode only deepened over time. Occasional fragments surfaced in the shadows, clips from private collections, fleeting glimpses on underground forums, each one quickly erased by aggressive legal action from the network. These brief echoes kept the story alive in hushed circles, feeding speculation about the true nature of what was revealed that night. The existence of a rumored vault unit within NBC, tasked with policing archival material, underscored the network's determination to control the narrative completely. Even documentary filmmakers faced revocation of access when attempting to probe the lost episode, further illustrating the extreme lengths taken to contain the fallout. Theories about dangerous secrets exposed by the guests' on-air disclosures circulated quietly, layering the story with an aura of conspiracy and caution. What began as a single episode of live television transformed into a complex tale of power, secrecy, and silence. It revealed a ruthless network willing to rewrite history to preserve reputation, a cautionary example of the high stakes behind the glitz and glamour of show business. The lost episode serves as a haunting reminder of how much can be hidden beneath the polished surface of entertainment. In the end, the vanished broadcast remains more than just a missing piece of television history. It is a testament to the fragile, often precarious balance between truth and image, between live moments and controlled narratives. The incident stripped away the comforting illusion of late-night comedy's seamless flow, exposing the raw, unpredictable humanity lurking beneath. The silence that followed became its own story, a story of lost opportunity, of careers altered, and of voices forcibly quieted. The legacy of that night lingers in the guarded fragments and in the subtle shifts in Carson's once unflappable demeanor. It is a shadow that follows the show, a dark echo in the laughter, and a stark reminder of the consequences when the unscripted becomes too real. Though decades have passed, the episode's absence speaks volumes about the culture of control and the power of silence in shaping public memory. The truth, though obscured, refuses to be entirely erased, surviving in whispers and fleeting images beyond the reach of official erasure. This vanished chapter of television history stands as a silent monument to the costs of live, unscripted moments gone wrong. It reflects the fragile nature of celebrity, the volatile dynamics of fame, and the enduring influence of media gatekeepers. The guest's downfall and Carson's guarded aftermath embody the human toll behind the polished veneer of entertainment. For NBC, the incident remains a carefully hidden scar, a stark lesson in narrative control and damage limitation. For audiences, it is a haunting enigma, a vanished moment frozen between legend and reality, reminding us all that beneath the bright lights and scripted smiles lies a world shaped by silence, secrecy, and the unyielding weight of what is left unsaid.